The CRM allows me to be able to manage my accounts. These accounts can be brought over from the Pulseway RMM solution. Right? So we're not doing double data entry. We have that integration. They will have different account types: former clients, partners, prospects, competitors. The list is up to you. From a business perspective, same thing. Anytime you see a list in the Pulseway PSA, this is something that you can modify and add to. Right? So it's a very flexible solution. These accounts can have one-to-many locations. They can have one-to-many account contacts. Right? And we're going to talk about how that works in conjunction with email domains when we get into the service desk component of Pulseway. Right? We can have specifically assigned resources. We're going to be able to look at the opportunities and activities as it relates to this account. This is one of the first areas that I like to illustrate and explain that the Pulseway PSA is a very top-down oriented solution. Right? And that makes it very easy for people to navigate and understand the process flow. Right? So accounts have contacts. Contacts have activities. Those activities, sales-related activities, will lead us to opportunities. These opportunities allow us to go ahead and quote for services that we provide to the customer. And all of these elements can be tied together. So from the opportunity, I can actually see all the projects and contracts that were created from this. Conversely, when we go to reporting, if you think about it, we can now tie everything back together. So when you're doing your postmortems at the end of the quarter or the end of the year, it is easy for you to go back and understand, where did your business get generated from, right? What verticals in the market are you being successful with? So maybe you want to put more marketing dollars there, right? Or maybe you want to go after the ones where you aren't. But all of these things become possible now because we can tie all of these different elements together across the Pulseway PSA. All right? So within the opportunity, we can track its own set of sales activities. Right? Each opportunity can have one-to-many quotes associated to it. Right? And we support two distinct kinds of quotes. One is a straight product quote. So if you sell a server, if you're a retailer, right, you're just selling product, we can do that. It's a very abridged process, but this allows you to be able to generate those invoices, collect sales tax, and be on your way. The service quote is where we're going to spend 90+% of our time, right? Because it is going to be a combination of product, it's going to be a combination of services, right? And it's going to be a combination of the actual reoccurring managed services component of the offering that we have. So let's actually go take a look at that a little bit deeper. We'll take a look at the quote and see how that is created. All right? And to do this, I'm actually going to create an opportunity from scratch, and we're going to walk through the entire process just so you can see how easy that is. And again, I define these things as the pre-sales or sales function. Right? So we're going to say this is a smart quote. Right? We will assign it to customer. It is open. And we'll have a close date at the end of the month. We save. Now, we can add our sales activities here. So is it an appointment? Are we calling? Are we doing a demo? Are we sending an email? Are we asking for a sale? All of these elements, all this work can be captured. Right? But I ultimately want to be able to go ahead and quote for my services. Right? So we're going to call it Smart Quote. And we'll say Service Quote. Right? But it's what you're going to notice is very minimal information needs to be input in order to be able to move the ball forward. So as we're working through this, again, easy to execute on. Within this quote, I now have the option of being able to quote for all different service types, right? Recurring services, which we'll do, time and material, fixed labor and price, products, etc. So in my example, we are going to be delivering a product, right? And that product can be a very simple thing, right? So we're going to be installing a power supply. And we can pretend that this is a very fancy and expensive power supply. Now, one thing to note, I did not have this power supply in quantity, right? It was a zero quantity, and that's okay. The Pulseway PSA allows us to function off of zero quantity inventory. Nobody keeps inventory anymore, right? It's all just in time. So we support that without issue. So we can plug in a price here. We'll call it a $5,000 power supply, right? And we'll add that in. Now, I'm going to need a technician to be able to do that work. I could do fixed price, so this will be project related, so they can be done through milestone, right? Initial payments, etc. But in this example, we'll do time and materials. And when we have individuals set up in the Pulseway PSA, they can be given different roles that have different rates. So this will be a support technician. We're saying it's going to take 5 hours. We'll add those folks in, right? We need somebody to be able to tell this support technician what to do. So, right, that's why project managers exist. So we'll add them in for an hour. And then ultimately what we want to do is we want to capture the recurring service revenue for this customer, right? So perhaps this is part of the desktop monitoring. It died, and they didn't know why. We've gone in and done a break fix, so this could be a brand new customer to us where we don't have a contract in place yet, right? And we'll talk about how we can support them. And on a go-forward basis now, they would like our services so they can maybe know about this in advance, right, through monitoring. So that's what we're going to do here. So we're setting that up at $55 a month. So we now have a $5,400 quote. We're going to generate this quote, and we will execute and send this out to them. And once they have accepted the quote, we will move it into an accepted status, and directly from one quote, I can convert this into post-sales actions. This is going to include projects, contracts, and sales orders. So with the project, I could convert this directly into a project template, right? We're going to leave it generic. So we're going to assign myself. Right? We are going to convert these sales contracts. Right? So the labor, we have two. We have the reoccurring and time and materials. Time and materials is the element that goes to that project. So we're going to link that. And then we're going to activate and make this other monthly contract the default for the customer. And then lastly, I can convert that sales order. I can show a delivery of that power supply, right? In this way, as needed, we can capture any delivery cost and or sales tax as well. So again, the idea is that all of these things are born from one quote in the Pulseway PSA. So as your sales organization is working and winning, you are now able to convert into the operational component for your business.